Hello, 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 and welcome to season 5?
Season 5.
Episode 2 of Rewind with Ro. I'm your host, Ro Carter, and my amazing co-host, Rob Smith. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you, Ro? I know you just had a fabulous.
Listen, player, I feel good. I feel like Beauty in Black because I just came back. I was in Ireland. That rhymes. See what I did there? I was in Ireland last week, and that was interesting. That was my third time, so I knew. But Ireland, my only thing. I'll be real quick about this. I was disappointed because now Dublin has become like Disneyland. It's been commercialized. So all the things you would do normally, like you want to hear Irish folk songs, and then like you have the Irish singers, but they're singing all American songs. It's been so Americanized. Like we went to the Guinness factory, like old school Guinness, like they had smaller groups, and you would actually pour, and then that's the highest point in Dublin. And so you can see all of Dublin through the sky deck at the Guinness factory. Mm-hmm. And now they made it like all these bright colors and everything. And I was like, I used to be like sleek Seattle, like kind of rusty. It was like, anyway. So needless to say, had a good time. What's that?
It's like a tourist trap now.
Yeah, now it's a lot touristy than it was. It used to be touristy, but now it's really, really touristy. So that's my only disappointment. I also saw a lot of black and brown and Asian people and I was like, yo, what happened to all? It's changed a lot, Dublin. And it was like, yeah, no one wants to go to America for school. So all these people are going to Dublin it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Wow. So it was really interesting to see, the education guys are playing around in America, but man, people are going other places, other countries to learn. So it's really interesting to see how that's going to affect us, 5 to 10 years from now. So. Yeah. Anyway, but besides that, caught up with friends, had a really good time. Wifey came, so I don't want to see a Guinness ever again. I don't want to see Guinness for a long time. I wish Ireland needs bidets.
So you had a lot of hangovers?
Yeah, a lot of that. My body was processing like just food that I just don't eat on a regular.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is miserable. I couldn't wait. When I got back home, I had a salad, I had a green juice, and I was like, oh, okay. And I had heat, my body at this age, my elbow, my knees, like the cold air. I was like, I just need warmth and heat. So anyway, I'm back. How was your week?
It was very relaxing. I just chilled out, didn't do much, hung out with the pup. So very mellow for me, not much to report.
How's the acting career, Rob? What are we doing? Anything coming up? What we got working on?
I mean, just the auditions pouring in, but not as quickly as I would like them to. But just the 2 films I shot this year. One, of course, the scene got cut out, but the other one is out there living in the world. Maybe we'll review it here like we talked about. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. All right, cool. So we are back for episode 2, and I wanted to do a show that we were like, this show is crazy last season. And so bringing it back, because they came back with a season 2. So Tyler Perry said, you know what? You guys thought this is crazy. I'm going to do a season 2 of Beauty in Black. It is more beauty, more black. Everybody got shape-ups now. Everybody looks like they lost weight and tightened up, right? Like everybody got a budget now. Everybody got a little.
Yeah, they got a budget for sure.
Right?
Now.
Everybody got the crazy lineups and the good hair, the good wigs on there. I was like, okay, we're looking good. So we're picking up where we left off. If you've seen season 1, check it out. It's on Netflix. This was originally about a young black woman who was basically got in trouble and was trying to do some illegal stuff, got caught up in it, and had to work it off for the strip club. So she was basically selling her body to pay off her debt. And then so she got inspired by one of the top ladies that ran, what's the name of the company again?
Beauty in Black.
It is Beauty in Black. Okay, anyway, it's called Beauty in Black, and it's one of the biggest brands for black folks. And so she was inspired, wanted to hear one of the top ladies speak. And in doing so, it opened up a whole new world. And then we see all these things happen and how she becomes a part of that world. Oh, so season 2, we're picking up where now the girl, what's her name again? Amber Rain, who plays Rain on the show. Her sister was kidnapped. Her friend got a BBL and that went wrong. And so all this crap was happening with her.
Well, that's
what?
Kimmy's sister got kidnapped and her friend Rain is the one.
Kimmy, yes. Sorry, I'm mixing them up. Kimmy's the one who all this thing's happening to. And it was just a soap opera after soap opera. So now we're picking up from that, where now she is actually getting brought into the family. What was that?
Thought it was on your end, but
No. All right,
dog.
So this is where we're picking up for season 2, where now the older brother finds out he's dying of cancer, and so he doesn't want to give his share of the business to the rest of his family because he hates family. So he just decides to say, "Hey, I'm going to marry Kimmy, and then she'll have 50% of the company, and I'll work through her." And now we watch it unfold. Boom! There you go. So we're going to basically just go through. It's only 8. We only have 6 episodes right now. 8 episodes right now. There's more coming, but there's only 8 out right now. So I kind of like you get a little bit of a break where like at first season you were just all at once. You're just like, it can't get any crazier than this. And it does, people. It gets crazier, but the writing is tighter. So Rob, when I first said, hey, let's do Beauty in Black for season 2, what was going through your head? And were you surprised in a wonderful way? Or were you like, oh God, here we go again?
Ironically enough, I had already watched it because Val had hit me up. Val, the founder of blackfilm.com, hit me up and was like, oh my gosh, I'm so into Beauty in Black right now. And like we talked about the first season, the first season was so like weirdly kind of bad that you just were obsessed with it. And everybody was like, oh my God, I can't get enough. I need more. So when you said it, I was like, of course, let's do it, because it was so like, I don't know what's the word, because it's not contagious. It was so, I don't know. Addictive. It was so addictive to watch season 1, and then season 2, of course, turned out to be exactly the same. As soon as you sit down and start watching, you're like, okay, I have somewhere to be, but maybe I can watch one more episode.
You can't believe where it might go. You're like, there's no way. There's no way he's gonna go here. There's no way.
Exactly. So I was excited about it, actually.
Okay, so we're getting back to it. First chapter, first episode. Basically, Kimmy's sudden rise sends a shockwaves through the Bel Air empire. And we're seeing the family being like, wait, what's going on? Now, I love this episode, the first one, because you're really going to see the old folks come back to life. So what's her name? Sorry, I'm trying to get everybody here. Debbie Morgan. She shines in season 2.
When I tell you,
we all know Debbie Morgan from Days of Our Lives and soap operas. And so this is her time to really shine. She is just rough and rugged, like, yo, this is a family business. Who the hell are you, BITCH? And checking her and checking everybody in season 2. So the family's really coming at each other and be like, hey, it's actually funny because they were split, but now that side of the family is coming together because it's all of them versus her. And Kimmy's like trying to fight it out, trying to figure out what's going on. And Horace is like, hey, I'm going to set you up for success. Just trust me and everything will fall into place. And that's what we're kind of working through. What did you think about that and the dynamic of the family?
I thought it was an interesting approach. We already knew she was crazy from season 1, but we got to see how insane this woman is at the very beginning of season 2. She is ruthless. She's brutal. She's a killer. She's nuts. Like, this woman is nuts, and she'll do whatever she needs to do to maintain her position and her privilege. So I think we got to see that, and it is a fun. I think it's a fun and like really exciting role to see Debbie Morgan playing, because I was not expecting this to go where it went. So yes, it's a pleasant surprise, but because she is so insane.
Yeah. So you know what? I'm going to change this up just a little bit. What I'm going to go is each character and kind of like their experience of what they're going through this season 2. So basically the mom is figuring out where her place is because she's losing out again. And now Kimmy has become the new wife. So she's like, no, that's my last name. And so they're fighting for that. Mallory's character, played by Crystal Stewart, she's actually very interesting because you're seeing 2 sides of her, where Terrell Carter played Varney, who's having the relationship with Charles. He's like trying to understand, hey, you're actually in love with my brother. I see that. And you're the lawyer for the company. You're actually a good guy. I want to talk to you and get to know it. But everybody thinks they're having an affair when they're not. And so you're seeing that relationship kind of blossom. And you're seeing a different side of Mallory that you normally don't see. She's just a BITCH all the time. And she checks, like, she's hilarious sometimes. The way she just says random stuff. Don't look at me. Why you like the guy who smells, the driver. And she's like, keep your head in the car the whole time you're driving me. There's so many good one-liners in season 2. It's kind of crazy. So what do you think about Mallory now? Like seeing a softer side of her, but also seeing her being the boss she is.
Well, I don't trust that it's the softer side of Mallory. I'll start with that. I think Mallory is the most manipulative, evil person I've ever seen portrayed as in a character ever. She is just, there is not a decent bone in this woman's body. Mallory is a monster from head to toe. She's always scheming. So for me, I don't think that there is a decent interest in her figuring out what the situation is with Varney. I believe it's her trying to figure it out so she can manipulate people with that information. So I don't trust her, and I do believe that this is just a scheme. But you know, her character was so disgustingly vile in season 1 that it was kind of hard to watch. And now as we progress into season 2, I think everybody is just so comfortable. All the actors are so comfortable in the skin of the characters that now you just if she was anything other than that, you'd be like, doing. So I really have grown to enjoy Mallory, where the first season I was like, I cannot stand this character. But now at this point, I'm like, okay, it's digestible. But yes, I think everybody in season 2 has really like locked in on their characters, and every single moment of the series, they are living in the skin of these people. And Mallory is the worst of the worst.
And Mallory's deep diving too, right? She's finding out her brother was actually calling Kimmy for sex trafficking and stuff like that, and was trying to use her, and then he can't get it up half the time. So that's another conversation about going on, but also trying to find out like what's really going on, like who Kimmy really is, and finding out she's paying some of the strippers that are at the dance club and getting to know what Jules is up to, right? So Jules is the head of their security, but Jules got all these other money hustling things going on. He's money laundering through the club and doing all this stuff. So all these things are unfolding. And Mallory's kind of like, oh, okay, I got another file here, another file here. So I'm going to be able to find out everything. Remember, though, this started from her randomly hitting what's her father-in-law's wife, you know, and killing her. And so that it's crazy how all this other thing is unfolded. Yeah. Moving right along, I wanted to talk about actually Varney's character, because he's the lawyer in the business, but he's also secretly having a relationship with Charles. Charles is on the down low, but not really on the down low. Like his family doesn't know, but everybody else knows that he's on the down low. And so him and Varney have this relationship, and Varney's throughout the season, he's really put in some touch situations where he's like, hey, you know what? They're in a relationship, having fun one time, and then the next day, Charles is with somebody else, right? And so he feels like he's just being used. Like, what's the point? And he has somebody that cares for him. And then later on, I won't give it away too much, but when Charles needs him, Varney's had enough. He's like, listen, man, you're not going to keep on using me like this. And then it really gets out of hand, and that's when it ends. But that's a whole nother conversation, which is crazy as well. But what do you think about someone who's always just it really talks about some relationships that you're in that are toxic, and you're like, hey, I'm always there for this person, and they're never there for me. So how long do I keep on doing this before I get my relationship? You know, I jeopardize my business and my relationship.
Yeah. First and foremost, I mentioned this before. I actually know Terrell, and I'm so happy that Terrell landed this and to see the growth of his career, because he's.
Oh, let's talk to Terrell. See if we can get Terrell on.
yeah. I talked about that before. I think he said he would be down for you to interview him. So for sure. Nice. I really do think Varney is the character that I have the most frustration with on the show.
Why is that?
Because Varney has the potential to be the person who stops all the craziness, or halts the crazy train, because he is the person on the outside of the crazy, but he's also a person on the outside of the crazy who's desiring to be a part of the crazy, because I don't think he realizes how crazy the crazy is, if that makes sense. So I feel like Varney he is constantly taking the side of the family.
Because he's getting paid to take the side of the family.
I think he's taking the side of the family because he doesn't know any better, because at the end of the day, I think he's not realized that the family is criminal in a way that I think he doesn't understand how deep it goes. I think he's trying to safeguard the family because he has loyalty for them. But what is happening? Sorry about that. He's trying to safeguard the family because he has loyalty for them.
Season 2, low budget. That's what we have. Season 5, low budget. We have no
Sorry, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
You want to take it? You want to take the call?
And it was muted. That's the weird part. So, but I think, yeah, he has this situation where he's like loyal to a fault. And that's the thing that is driving me crazy, because he's so close to realizing that they're disgustingly bad people, but he's defending them because of his loyalty to them, because they have paid him. And I think he has respect for the dad. So he's there, and even though so many people in the family don't like him and are discovering the fact that he's gay, and they hate the fact that he's gay, and he's still loyal to them. So it's like he's loyal to a fault. And Varney, is so disappointing, because I'm like, Varney, they cannot stand you, and you see them doing this stuff that's harmful to other people, but you still keep taking their side. So I think hopefully there's going to be a twist somewhere in this situation where Varney is the one who ends up making the smart and correct decision and not siding with the family in the end. So we'll see. I don't know. I hope Varney makes that decision.
And let's move on to Rain. So Rain was in trouble. She was at the club, wanted to get her BBL done, and that went south, where she almost died. And she's in the hospital, and she's best friends with Kimmy. And Rain now, Kimmy gets all this money now and decides, hey, I'm going to give $500,000. She gets $2 million. She's like, I'm going to give $500,000 to my sister, another $500,000 to Kimmy. And she's like, what, really? Now, Kimmy still goes back to the club. Why are you going back to the club when you got paid? But I kind of like that, because it one of the drivers says, you know what? It's a creature of habit, right? You can't just go leave your comfort of what you are, because you've been living that type of life. And that's a prime example of a lot of people that just like, yo, you made it out. Like, why are you still going back to the hood? You don't need to go back. Well, that's who I am. That's who I am. Like, no, I don't care who you are. Like, move on. Like, that's the stuff that's going to get you in trouble. And so Kimmy's like, you know what? She's like, I'm going to find that chick that messed me up, and I'm going to get revenge on that. And then you kind of see that unfold. And that's interesting. What do you think about that? Like, should she have left it alone and kept it moving, or no? She needs to get her just dues.
Rain again. But Rain.
Sorry, Rain.
Rain.
I'll get him right. Rain, Kimmy.
Poor Rain has spent nearly the entirety of 2 seasons in a hospital bed. He got bricks injected into her booty. But I'm glad she did finally get out. But like you said, the first thing she decides to do is like cause more drama and go straight back to the strip club. But of course, the storyline couldn't progress forward if she didn't. So it was interesting having her go back. And then but her going back also kind of helped, I guess, propel things forward with them having more trust in the fact that that the dad actually wanted to have this circumstance happen, because I think does she get to see, or Kimmy gets to see? I think she gets to see him in action with the people at the club with Jules. Or was that Kimmy? Yeah. So I think that, you know, that was critical, because she kind of pushes Kimmy to a place where she's like, just go have a conversation with Horace. Like I think I trust him. So I'm glad she did have that experience, because she got to see that he actually does want the best for them. And even if it's, you know, not really for their benefit, but it's for him to, you know, have the opportunity to keep his kids from inheriting anything, because they're all such trash.
I love you say that last sentence. So kudos. Moving right along, Angel's character. Oh God. So he's friends with Rain. He used to work at the club. He was a dancer as well, but he was also hustling Horace, because he would dance for Horace and get paid. So they're basically in one little group together, like their own mini family within the families. And he gets assassinated. Well, attempted to get assassinated, and they didn't know who it was. And so he doesn't get killed, and it unfolds a whole new thing. So people don't know what's going on. They try to figure it out. When they find out he isn't dead, he comes back, and he's still trying to mend with his baby's mama, but that doesn't work out. And then these guys are chasing him. He gets off the hit list and now gets back under Horace's wing, and Horace gives him a card and all that stuff. That drove me insane, is when you give certain people money and you don't educate them with the money. And I remember who said that? Jay-Z is like, you know, I don't give money to family anymore. I give them jobs. So if you want to work and earn it. And so basically Horace says, here's a card, take whatever car you want. Here's a card. You can charge whatever you want. And there's no limit. He's like, yeah. And Angel becomes a character I really hate now, because he's dropping the N-word too much. and he's calling everybody, the butler, the N-word, the other people, the N-word. He's like, what? Yeah, but and it's just like, bro, you haven't. He's like, yeah, I want everything. I'm like, you haven't earned anything. You didn't work for anything. He just feel he deserves it. So he reminds me of those people out there. That just feels like, hey, man, you had a good life. I was like, Horace earned it. He worked for it. He kept the business alive and did all these things, right? It's not always passed down to generations. Sometimes it is, but sometimes you have to earn it and work for it. And so I think Angel is upset that how he worked about it, how he had to sell his body and sell a part of him, his dignity. And he feels he's owed that because he had to sell himself. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's interesting that twist when he's talking to Kimmy's sister. He's like, yeah, she's like, oh, well, you slept with that man to get what you got. And he was like, I didn't sleep with him. I didn't do that at all. And he got very offended. And she could tell it's really like he feels like everybody owes him for the life that he's led. What do you think about his character and where it's going?
Well, in season 1, I told you that I thought he was kind of like the actor who I felt like was most tapped into the experience of his character and felt the most authentic to me in season 1 from an acting perspective. But again, I think everybody this season has kind of dialed into their characters. He annoys me in season 2 very much, like you said. I don't care that he calls everybody the N-word.
No, but the way he said it's annoying N-word versus like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like there's like unnecessary drop N-words for no reason.
I know you don't care because he's Dominican, so he whatever.
Yeah, that pissed me off too. But that's a whole other conversation.
I think that's fine. I think his character is Dominican, which black, according to who you talk to. But
that's my point.
Let's not get into a history.
I'm not gonna get into that. I'm saying I know, but people be acting like they ain't
dropped off there too. So
and they ain't. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Either way, but I do love his character. That his character is annoying me. The thing that's annoying me most about his character is he knows at this point that Horace really cares about him, and Horace has like saved him from having to like pay back this debt to Jules. But I don't think they all are aware that Horace put them on like the safe list.
Yeah.
I don't think
he tells her later.
Yeah, but I don't think at the point where they're like coming into the fold of the house and getting these debit cards or these credit cards and getting a bedroom in the house. I don't think they're aware that they're on like a safe list, but he annoys me because he's still so aggressively like disrespectful in a way to Horace.
Yeah, that's my point.
But I'm like, okay, I get that you don't like the advances from Horace. Horace has kind of slowed down the advances on him. He's not asking him to dance for him. Yeah. None of that's happening. He's just taking care of him because he does like him. So I just think his character is like too aggressively upset about the fact that Horace likes him. But I also understand because he's like a straight man who doesn't want this gay stigma on him, but he dances for men. So he's battling all of those internal demons. And also his baby mama is the most annoying person on the face of the earth. And every time he tries to go back to her, I'm like, this is what's so annoying to me. Like, you're trying to go back and have a relationship with this woman who obviously hates you. She hates everything about you. She hates the way you look, the way you smell, the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you everything. She hates you from the toenail on your big toe to the curl on the top of the hair that hits the highest point of your head. Like, this woman cannot stand him, and to the point where she pulled a gun on him. Like, I don't understand why he's still fighting to try and be in love with this woman who cannot stand him. Like, try and see your baby, I understand that. But him wanting to be in love with her so badly is annoying. And him being so rude to Horace, who actually cares about him and is giving him access to millions of dollars in a mansion and cars, is annoying. So he's just like, his brain is fried. I don't know if he's supposed to be a crack.
I think he wants to prove to her that he is a good guy when it comes down to it. No. I mean, like, listen, he's gone about his life the wrong way to do it, but he's like trying to prove, hey, man, I do care about you. I can be this man. But unfortunately, I had to do all this other crazy stuff to find out that I can be that guy. And then he goes back for those.
Me, kicks me out, calls the cops on me, has her family beat me up. Like, how many times? But you still try. He's trying to go back because of the toxic masculinity. He has to prove that he's not gay. So he's trying to go back to this woman who's willing to get him jumped and pull guns on him, and he's willing to be vile and rude and disrespectful to everyone centered around the person who's trying to take care of him. So his character is just annoying because he's
coming out soon. He's coming out soon. Sorry.
He's an idiot. His character.
All right.
And it drives me crazy.
Roy is the older brother in the family, and he's all over the place. His character is mixed with me. He's married to Mallory. They don't even have a relationship anymore, really. They're just in it for, because for the looks of it. But he's still buying hookers. Now he's sleeping with hookers now. He's crazy. And still in the drug game in terms of like he's doing drugs. He was pushed out the window last season. He survived that in the hospital. So him and Kimmy, now when Kimmy comes to the office her first day, they have their own kind of battle in her office. And he checks her and she checks him, and they go back and forth. So it's very interesting to see that dynamic. I'm shocked they didn't. There was a lot of office scenes where 1-on-1. I'm shocked or 2-on-1 that she didn't get jumped in the office. I was waiting for her to get jumped in the office. No,
that really, because they wouldn't have got access to the money.
Just a beat down though. I'm not trying to kill it. Just a nice
cops, and they lose their access to the.
I was waiting for a beat, man. I was waiting for the.
They ain't touching the hair on her head.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So anyway, you're seeing Roy's character kind of unfold. He's just a character. He doesn't. I like. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I don't know.
I was actually sad he wasn't dead when they found him on the balcony.
Okay. All right. Damn.
His character is such a waste of air.
He's just background noise sometimes, Yeah. I wish you'd give him more. There was more for him the first season because he was trying to be liked by his father and be understood. And everybody's like, yo, you're a waste. You just get high and you do stupid things, and we ain't got time for you.
My favorite was the scene where he got wet.
Yeah. Oh, yo. That scene is crazy. Now it's like, you smell like urine. I was like, yeah. It's like, you got girls doing stuff to you now? He's like, no, it's my dad. That was the most disrespectful scene ever. You'll see that. You got to see that. But
if they're not gonna kill him, yeah, let's see him get peed on. Let's do that.
I thought it was a little unnecessary.
I thought it was great. Because I cannot stand Roy. He is such an idiot. He's a coked out idiot who has no place in that company because he has no clue what he's doing. All he does is have sex with hookers or strippers, run his mouth about the company, and do cocaine. Like, he has no value. He has no value.
So what value does Charles have, the younger brother?
At least the younger brother is entertaining.
Because he's basically doing the same thing.
He's just funny though. He's fun.
He's a character. So the younger brother, he's always at the club. He's getting high. He's just trying to pick up everything humanly possible that he can, bring home, and that's it. And so him and Barney's character, they always arguing back and forth. He doesn't want a relationship, but he also wants somebody be there to hold him down. And so we all know those people that have those relationships, having side pieces when the good person for you is back at home. And so that's really who Charles's character. I see good in him sometimes, but I think he's so confused because he's trying to live in this world, or is that just the drugs that are living vicariously through him, and he's just always like trying to party.
I think that's the difference. That's the major difference between Roy and Charles, right? Roy is just they're both addicted to drugs. They're constantly doing cocaine or whatever other drugs they're partaking in. They're both addicted to sex. They're both chronically unavailable at work, so they're horrible at their jobs running the company that they're inheriting. But the difference between Charles and Roy, to me, Roy is just angry and violent, and Charles is happy and go lucky and fun, even though he's hurting people through his joy.
Do you think that's his anger though?
But I'm saying at least I get whereas Roy is beating up women.
Yeah.
He's violently beating up women. Charles is just like, get out of my house after he has sex. So there's a little bit of a difference. So it's just a little bit more easy to digest Charles as opposed to Roy. And when they think Charles is dead and he comes back and he's like, what y'all crying for? Like, everything is like lighthearted for him. He doesn't care. Like he just wants to have fun, do drugs, have sex, and drive nice cars. But he doesn't want to hurt anybody. Whereas Roy is like out to dominate people, destroy their life, beat them, be aggressively violent to them. So that's why Roy, I'm like, oh, why couldn't he just be dead on the balcony?
Gee, all right. And Charles's character too, he's so like just in the clouds sometimes, doesn't even realize that people are setting him up, right? Mm-hmm. And so not having anybody in your corner, he realizes that in season 2, like, yo, I only got me at this point, man. All the people, but it's some of the things he did to himself, right? It's like you had people in your corner, but you're not reliable, or you're always all over the place. So what are we supposed to do with that?
Absolutely.
So he kind of burned bridges with people. So now he's realizing, yo, I'm by myself. What am I going to do? To the point where one of the guys he brings home from the club sets him up. And so they're going to come and rob him. And that leads and unfolds to a whole nother can of like, what the hell happened? And that kind of like is the cliffhanger later on. I won't give that away, but you got to see that. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Going all over the place.
That was nuts.
Last thing I want to talk about is Richard Lawson, who plays Norman. Again, another soap opera black legend. Norman plays Harrison's brother. And so you get to learn a little bit more about how their upbringing was and how their relationship with their dad was and how that kind of plays into how they are with each other. Like he wasn't the favorite one. He was always the stupid one, didn't get it. He got in trouble for all the things that Harrison did. And so because Harrison was always looking as a positive one who's going to make a difference in his life for the family. And so that resentment is still within them. It was interesting because Norman has this, he finds out his brother's going to die. And so he has that family part like, oh man, he's still my brother at the end of the day. Even though we have our differences, I still care for him. But I want to try to mend some things. I don't know if there was a hustle of him really caring, but you did see him vulnerable because other times he's just been a bad mofo. He's like, I don't care. You get in my way, I'm going to mow you down. There's a scene that he kills one of his old friends and his wife. And I was like, damn. I was like, that's what we're doing? Putting hits on people. So he kind of does his thing his own way. And that way he knows it's done. Because every time he relies on Jules or somebody else, it doesn't get finished. And then he's in a bigger situation. So now we're trying to see him kind of come together and still keep the family intact and figure out how it's going to work. But he's a very complicated old man in terms of like, hey, I know how to maneuver, but it's kind of a new generation. So how do I maneuver in this new generation? It's a very interesting dynamic. What do you think about his character and how it's kind of building up? No.
So Norman, to me, is like the mirror character of Olivia. That's similar to how Charles and Roy are. And you have things about them that are like drastically different, while there's things that are like shockingly the same. So Norman he wants to be this boss in the way that Olivia is, that I think he can never be, because he's just not as smart as she is. But he wants to be this like evil kingpin in a similar way to her.
Yes.
It's interesting watching that because we knew he was violent and aggressive from season 1 when he killed the people in the ambulance driver and the medics. He doesn't care who's in the way.
I thought he was more angry because, it was his wife, but now I know that's who he is.
Yeah. And it seemed like he was using his wife. Well, I mean, he's still like upset about his wife. Yeah. He's still like viscerally upset about his wife. So I get it. But he's the weak version of Olivia. So he's kind of annoying. He's that's like a fly. Weak version of yeah, he's like a fly. That you swat at a little bit. So he's another character like Roy. I'm like, okay, can we just kill him off in a car accident too? So at some point they got to start killing people off. So him and Roy are the ones how I vote they kill off because they're both annoying. But listen, it's saying something good about the way that they're setting up this.
Some people need to go. That's what you're saying.
The way they're setting up this world, because you have such like deep feelings about each person. Like you're really like, oh, I really can't stand that character, and I'd be happy if they died on a balcony. So it's like you really feel that. And Norman is one of those people for me because I'm like, he really is like violent, but like timidly violent. So it's annoying. Like he didn't really want to kill his friend, and he didn't have to kill his friend, but he did it anyway. And that sweet little woman who cooked them dinner, it was so annoying. He didn't need to kill the people in the ambulance, but he was just emotional and did it. Whereas Olivia was like, get in the bag. Like she's like violent in a very scary way. Whereas he's like violent because he's emotional and he's a little bitch. So it's very interesting watching the two characters be so drastically different but similar. But also like we find out later on how both of them are like scheming the company as well. So it's like they're very similar characters but different.
Okay.
You know?
And then you have the supporting characters like Officer Alex and Officer Traxon. And so their Officer Alex is now the new what is his nickname again?
Japanica.
Jap-
Brian Tanaka. Yeah. And he's I love his character. He's so like smooth.
Yeah. So
like,
we really get to see his character kind of take off into his own. He's playing 4 different sides, right? He's playing Jules, playing with Kimmy. Rain is checking him every now and then, and they're getting closer. Everybody, and then also Officer Traxon, because they work together, and so he has his back. So I don't know what his alternative is or what his motive is, because he says he wants to get out, but like he's working so many sides. At some point, he's gonna get caught up, right?
Yeah, I feel like Officer Alex is similar to Varney to me. Like he's I feel like at some point he's gonna be critical to the progression of the story in one way or the other, because he is really like the one piece that's keeping everything from imploding, because he's playing all sides, he's playing everybody, but it feels like in the moment he has the best, he's most connected to Kimmy and Rain, and we almost got to see like a romantic relationship between him and Rain. I don't know how I felt about that, but we saw it coming. We saw like them get close to it. So I think he does have the most like reverence for those two, because he knows what this family has put them through, and he has empathy for the women and what they have to deal with at the club and dealing with Roy and all these people. So I think he's going to be a factor later on as well in a positive way for Kimmy and Rain.
And Jules' character, like he was the head guy running all this stuff at the club and running these girls, and it's very interesting to see now that Kimmy's in power. She's like, "Yo, you my bitch now," right? And so that's very interesting. That dynamic is like, "Yo, don't mess with my family." We can find out later if something happens to one of his family members. So that was a whole nother crazy scene. I don't want to give that away either. That was crazy. So there's a lot of scenes you're like, what? And it's gonna really unfold in the next couple of chapters. So right now you have 8 episodes that you can watch. I think another group of them come out next week or so. So it's intoxicating. It really is. It's just like you're like, I need to
but you can't wait. Like I'm really waiting.
Yeah. Again, we dogged it the first season, but just because it was so like just not that it was bad, but it was just like so like wait what? Like, and so now it's leveled to a good like what? Like okay. Now we've known the characters, we know who they are, and like you said earlier, they really own these characters now, right? I couldn't see anybody else playing this person. They got picked up for another season. They try to recast, like in old school shows, they used to recast the moms and stuff like that, or the parent or a kid. I'm like, you couldn't recast anybody. Maybe your boy Rory and Norman. That's about it. But no,
die on the balcony. That's don't recast it. That's
it. All right. Well, like I said, Kimmy's going to new things. The only thing I'll add is Horace now went to Europe to get this test that they said they can do to heal people who have cancer. So he's going through this chemo kind of therapy to see what's going to happen with him. So I wonder if he becomes healthy again and healed, does he come back, and what's that dynamic? Because they had set him up Kimmy's first day in the office. Horace gives her a plan like, hey, this is how you got to run the family, right? When you go in, don't show up on time, right? And then you're gonna put a thing in your ear, and you're gonna hear me speak, and we're gonna talk about the thing. And then she cuts him off, and she does her own thing, and he's like, oh, I respected that, but I don't know if I like that, right? Kimmy's coming into her own, but in a way she's not respecting him, and they also in a relationship like he doesn't like women. So how's that gonna unfold later because they're married? It's really gonna be an interesting dynamic if he comes back healthy. So I don't know if I like that. I kind of like getting rid of him and seeing how that unfolds, but keeping the back end, I kind of. What do you think of that?
Well, I really like. I
like Horace. I like Horace's character.
You like Horace, and I was pleasantly surprised at how Kimmy. Well, I kind of expected that they were going to make her handle it well. Stop. I knew they were gonna have her handle it well, but I didn't expect her to come in and boss it up the way she did. So I was like, okay, this is cool.
She checked everybody. She checked them all.
Yeah, she had everybody picking their jaw up off the floor. So I was like, okay, that was cool to see. And to your point, like, so if Horace comes back from Italy and he's cured, what is going to be Kimmy's position now? Because he doesn't need to give the whole company over to her if he's not going to die. But also, she actually is making decisions that are good for the company. But then again, she's finding things that he knew. And she's starting to dismantle things he had set up to safeguard himself, because she's using those things as tools to break down all the people there to show them that she's the boss. So it's going to be interesting to see, like, does she have a power play with Horace if he comes back, where she stays in her position, or is he going to want her to stay in her position? I don't know. We'll see. And also, like, they're married. I don't think she's going to end up in a situation where she's trying to have his babies, and I don't think he wants her to have his babies because he wants Angel to have his babies. But so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what the dynamic is if he is cured of whatever he is ailing him, and he comes back and Kimmy has the company like actually profitable and doing well, and they're married. What does that look like for the future?
All right. So again, that's what we're going to see. The one thing I love, again, is just seeing, with all the craziness, I still love positive influence on TV like this. You're seeing Black people in power, running a business, stepping up in the boardroom, kind of knowing what they need to discuss and kind of move the company forward. So I really love to see the positive things with all the craziness that's going on. So check it out. Definitely season 2, 8 episodes out on Netflix. Anything else you want to add, Rob?
No, again, I think it was a pleasant surprise to see the growth of the sets, the look and feel of the show, the characters. The
only thing I don't like, though, is now they do Black in the background now of scenes. Someone did that in a movie. I forget what show that was, or a movie they did that, where they actually have Black Beauty and Black in the background. So they'll start the scene, and then in the back you'll see it.
Hard for the show.
I forgot what that's called, but I was like,
yeah, a lot of shows do that. I mean, I was just watching Ironheart, and Ironheart does.
And I'm like, I don't think it's necessary,
but I think the look and feel of the show is increased. Of course, I feel like a lot of shows give a small budget to a season 1 to see if it's going to work, and they beef it up for season 2. Again, like, I don't know if they hire some acting coaches to be around. The performances are a lot stronger this time. The writing is better. So yeah, it's interesting. Like, it's growing on you. It's still like so kind of crazy that you're like, is this really happen? Did that really just happen? So you're still watching it in the same way, but it's gotten much better. So I'm excited to see. I'm ready for the next 8
it'd be interesting to see if they mix like real time with that show. You know, like what's going on in the world.
Yeah,
so I think that's a next step they could go, and how it kind of influences other things. So we'll see. But the potential's there.
Yeah, it is. And I'm curious to see some more cameos of people who might come join the show, the series. I think there's room for them to drop in some more characters. We'll see.
I mean, listen, give Rob a job, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get him out there. Let's get him out there in those things.
Like I said, I mean, I auditioned for Roy. I don't think I was the right fit for Roy for sure. But
no.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm down for a little Beauty in Black.
Isn't everybody? Yes. Okay. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. This has been another episode of Rewind with Ro. I'm your host, Ro Carter. Rob Smith. See you next week.